Do not be arrogant toward the branches. If you are, remember, you do not support the root supports you. Do not become proud but fear. For if God did not spare the natural branches, he will not spare you either. Paul, Romans 11:18-21. Paul saw it coming, the pride, the arrogance, the betrayal. He warned the Gentiles, "You are grafted in. Do not boast over the root." But they did not listen and did the exact opposite. And what followed was not unity, not humility, not truth. They committed treason. Christians were invited into a covenant they did not earn. They were grafted into a tree that was not theirs. A root nourished by Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the prophets. But instead of being thankful, they boasted. Instead of honoring the root, they pronounced it unworthy. They persecuted it, trying to kill it. By their doctrines, they replaced Israel. With their own version of righteousness, they claimed God changed his mind, rebuking the Jews, favoring Christendom, and by doing so, they committed the unthinkable. They accused God of breaking his own word. They accused God as a liar. Making God a liar. God said his covenant with Israel was everlasting. "I will bless those who bless you. I will make you into a great nation, and through you all the nations of the earth will be blessed." Genesis 12:17-22. "I will not cast off the descendants of Israel for all that they have done." Jeremiah 31:37. God's gifts and his calling are irrevocable. Romans 11:29. But Christendom said, God is finished with the Jews. The church is the new Israel. We are the chosen ones now. They called God a liar. They redefined his promises, and to maintain their power, they had to erase the people through whom the truth came. Blood on their hands. By their own version of righteousness and justification, they committed genocide over and over again. 1096, First Crusade. Entire Jewish communities in Speyer, Worms, and Mainz were massacred. Mothers were killed in front of their children. Synagogues were burned with worshippers inside. 1190, York Massacre. Nearly 150 Jews seeking refuge in Clifford's Tower were trapped. Many committed suicide to avoid forced baptism. The rest were slaughtered when they surrendered. 1241, Frankfurt. On the Jewish Sabbath, a mob attacked the Jewish quarter, killing over 180 Jews in coordinated violence, while clergy and magistrates turned away. 1348, the Black Plague. Accused of poisoning wells, thousands of Jews across Germany, France, and Spain were burned alive. In Strasbourg alone, nearly 2,000 Jews were executed in a single day. 1492, Spain. Under Queen Isabella and Ferdinand, the Alhambra decree expelled all Jews who would not convert to Christianity. Torture and execution followed under the Inquisition. 1881 to 1920s, Russian pogroms. Waves of mob violence burned Jewish homes, raped women, and murdered thousands while Orthodox priests either cheered or stood silent. 1939 to 1945, the Holocaust. 6 million Jews exterminated in camps, ghettos, and death marches. Many Nazi soldiers wore Christian symbols. Churches either complied or remained silent. And today, many Christians loudly condemn Israel's wars, calling them unjust and violent. Yet they remain silent or justify the centuries of Christian violence against the Jewish people, violence that far exceeds anything Israel has done in defense of her land. This is not justice. This is hypocrisy. They point fingers while hiding blood on their own hands. Hypocrisy in God's name. This isn't just a betrayal of Israel, it's a betrayal of the Spirit. The Spirit who wrote the covenant, who anointed the prophets, who breathed truth into the scriptures. You cannot love the Spirit and hate his people. You cannot honor the Messiah and erase his family. You cannot preach salvation while justifying slaughter. Whatever you did to the least of these my brothers, you did to me. Matthew 25:40. Then what has the church done to Jesus? They killed his people in the name of God, thinking they were doing him a favor. They mirrored the very spirit of Islamic jihad that they now condemn. What makes Christendom think it will escape judgment when it did the same evil with more revelation? The rebuke. This is not a history lesson. This is a rebuke. A rebuke to a church that has betrayed the root. A rebuke to theology that calls God unfaithful. A rebuke to a legacy of blood, pride, and blindness. The church must repent, not with shallow statements, not with theological evasions, with public confession, with mourning. Because the tree still stands, and the root is still holy. God did not change. His promises did not fail. But the church did, and did unthinkable evil. God will not cast off his people. Let every heart tremble. Let every doctrine bow. Let every proud branch fall to the ground, because the God of Abraham still watches, and he will not be mocked. Return to the root before it's too late.